Hey, how's it going? I want to talk a little bit about today's market and what I'm seeing as I talk to hundreds of job seekers. A lot of them veterans, but not all of them. And these are people that are out there looking for jobs. A lot of them are looking for their very first job in tech sales. I specialize in helping people break into tech sales and then do well once they break in. And so a lot of these people are looking to break into tech sales from a different career. And there's a lot of challenges that they're facing, and there's a better way to go about getting a job in tech sales. So I'll get to that in a minute. Let me talk a little bit about what's happening today in the market. So first, we live in a world. We all exist in this job market where the norm, the standard is that you would go and apply to jobs at a careers page, either on the website, on Indeed, on the the career website or LinkedIn, and you would go submit your application. A lot of people are revising their resumes to each application, and you would go submit an application and apply. Here's one of the problems with this method is largely you were not made to win in this method. This job matching system and strategy is designed for the companies to find success. It's not necessarily designed for the candidate. Let me explain. The company is going to get access to a bunch of information from a bunch of different candidates. They're basically going to be able to pool a bunch of candidates from a specific market for a specific role and get a good idea of how many people are interested in this type of role, how many people are interested in our company, and then what is the caliber of candidate that we're going to get. And so they get all these applications. Based on all these applications, they then go through and start to choose which ones seem to be, what they're looking for. And largely what they do is they look for people that have experience in the role they're hiring for. Okay. And so if you don't have specific experience, not general experience, but specific experience in the role you're applying for, it is very hard to get past the ATS system, AI, recruiters. The number one thing most of them are looking for is we want someone who has experience in this job. Next are things like maybe location, total years experience in the workforce, so on and so forth. But largely it's experience in a specific area, okay? It's really tough when you don't have that experience to apply, and just pray that someone gives you a shot, right? Like someone's going to see your resume and be like, this person has zero experience in tech sales, but you know what? Let's try. Even if you get a referral from a trusted employee in the company, which are a dime a dozen, by the way, it still can be challenging. And if you don't believe me, go try yourself. Go send out 100 applications, go get 20 referrals and submit an application with a referral behind it and see what your odds are and what the numbers actually say around how many interviews you're getting, how many callbacks you're getting, right? Many of you are experiencing this today, and it's frustrating. You're going months and months and months in the job hunt, and it's really tough. So beyond that, the fact that the job hunt process is designed for the employer to win, not the job hunter or job seeker or employee, it's also designed for you to go wherever opportunity presents itself, meaning you're kind of going wherever the wind blows, really, right? As you apply, let's say Acme Software over here gets back and says, you know what, we'll give you a shot. Great. Of the 100 companies I applied to, I don't even know which one you are, but sure, let's give it a shot. Let's go. And let's just assume for a second you get the job. Now, here we are dedicating a lot of time, at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, to a job, to a company that we really don't know much about, other than like we think after 2 to 3 minutes of research, this could be a good place. And so you're taking jobs on a whim. And then we wonder why 6 months in, 12 months in, we're like, I don't know if this is the right spot. I don't know if this is the right place. I don't know if this is what I want to do. And we job hop, right? And then we move again and again. But we do the same thing over and over. This isn't the right place. Let me go send out 100 applications elsewhere and see if I get lucky, right? It's like playing the lottery and hoping that that one company that is a good fit for you, or maybe the small group of companies that would be a good fit, one of them pans out. So it's a really tough approach, and it doesn't really serve you well as you're trying to navigate your career. And I'm talking specifically in tech sales, but think about any career, right? Let's be more intentional about the time we have here on earth, and specifically the time we use towards working, right? The time we work is significant. It's 8 hours a day. And really, for a lot of jobs, it's much more than that. We're traveling, we're meeting people, we're putting time, energy, effort. Cognitive work is being done constantly. It can be stressful. It can be something you bring home. So it's a big deal, right, that we choose a career and we strategically align our goals, our wants, our passions, our desires with the career path that suits us best. And while I talk about this, a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes like, yeah, cool, dude. That'd be great if I could, design a strategic career path and then go actually live it out. What are you talking about? Like, go actually execute on that? Like, go target 3 or 4 companies and then actually go get the role I want at those companies? Like, that's what you're telling me? I think it's very possible. And that's what we're teaching people to do in the arena is let's take control over our lives, over our careers. Let's stop being pushed this way and that way by the wind. Wherever opportunity lies, we jump. Let's be on the offense. Let's take advantage of the skills that we have, the skills that we've developed, and take advantage of the chinks in the job hunt process itself, right? And let's flip it on its head. And let's go find jobs that are a good fit for us based on the strategic career plan that we've developed for ourselves. Okay? This process typically ends in career advancement. It ends in, getting your first job and actually enjoying it, appreciating it, doing better in that role, promoting faster, right? Having more opportunities available to you. When we're more intentional and strategic with our career, with the jobs we choose, it's a lot easier to do better as opposed to just taking what comes, right? I know this, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's probably like, well, how the heck do we do this? It's tough. Okay. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here is teach the concept of solving a business problem or solving a sales problem for a customer is really no different when you're a job hunter or a job seeker trying to go get a job. Ultimately, what we have here is when we state the problem that we're trying to solve today, it's going to be silly and you're going to laugh. But ultimately, what we're saying today is the problem I'm trying to solve is hire Andrew. Really, really, actually, what we're saying, if we're being very, very transparent and very specific, it's buy me, buy Andrew, buy Andrew as the potential solution to the problem you're trying to solve, right? Imagine as a salesperson, right, in B2B software, tech sales, enterprise sales, and you approach random prospects that you haven't really vetted, you haven't done your territory account planning, you just kind of approach random folks. You say, hey, I got an idea, buy me, buy this, buy us, buy our product, buy our service, without really having any idea of the problems that they're facing or the solutions that they might be looking for. It's silly, right? It's absurd. But yet we do that in the job hunt process. We throw our application, ask our application to sell us on our behalf. And at the end of it, we just say the call to action is buy me, right? I think that's really tough. Instead, let's flip the problem statement and let's say the new problem statement is customer focused, right? Does that sound familiar? As salespeople, we should be customer obsessed. We should be customer focused. We should be constantly looking to see the world through the customer's eyes, constantly trying to understand the challenges they're facing, the problems they have, and not just specific to the things we offer, but we should go beyond that. Like, what are all the things that this customer is responsible for? And how do all those play into how I might be able to help and support, right? And so from a job hunter's perspective, let's look at it this way. The new problem statement is Somewhere out there, there's a hiring manager who has a problem, right? The problem is open headcount. Okay. But really, the problem behind the problem is I don't just need a body. I don't just need a person. Like, just hiring someone isn't actually going to solve the problem. What I need is someone who can deliver results. When we talk about hiring salespeople, when we talk about hiring managers and sales leaders looking to hire salespeople, the problem they're really trying to solve is I need a revenue generation machine, right? I need someone that can come in and can deliver results in territories that are challenging to customers that are hard to reach and solve problems that are extremely complex. So the job description is going to outline about 20 to 30% of what's actually required. The other 70 to 80% is really in the hiring manager's head of what they're looking for specifically. Like, this specific job, I know I'm going to give them this territory. I know this territory is going to require that whoever I hire has to have incredible communication skills. They've got to be really, really strong in executive presence. They have to be great presenters. They have to be really good at simplifying our product and our solutions, because they're quite complex, and making sure that, our customers and the people we serve can easily understand what we do, how we do what we do, and why we do what we do. So that all of that combined will start to deliver consistent revenue in this territory, and it'll grow over and over and over. So beyond that, they also need to be a team player. They need to work well with their solution engineer. They need to work well with the SDRs, the inside reps. They need to work well with customer success. They need to work well with me. They need to be able to lead up, right? Like, give me insight and information that can help you communicate well with me as your leader. They need to be something who can keep the CRM up to date, right? They need to be someone who largely knows the sales process and can run through it themselves. They need to be someone who, heck, it'd be great if they could be uplifting and motivational and bring the team up when needed, right? They need to be someone that perhaps one day could take my job as I promote. So there's so much more than what is listed on the job description this hiring manager is looking for. And as you think about the problem they're trying to solve, it immediately requires you to go about solving it in a very different way. If that's the problem they're trying to solve, for you to shoot over a resume, a piece of paper to them, just wouldn't really do you justice, especially if you don't have experience in tech sales and you're trying to break in for the first time and you shoot a resume over to that person. They're going to look at your resume and be like, oh, sweet, zero experience in what I'm looking for. Thank you very much. In the garbage. Okay. So the problem we're trying to solve is there's a hiring manager out there who has open headcount and is trying to solve a problem that will help them generate revenue consistently. So we need a person that can do that, right? And if you are coming from out of industry, meaning you don't have a specific tech sales experience and you're going after maybe an SDR role or an entry-level AE role, there are other ways, there are great ways that you can show that you have the potential to become the person they want you to be. A lot of hiring managers are interested in hiring, potential hiring growth AEs. They might be in a position where their other AEs are so strong and the team is doing so well that they can afford to hire a more junior person for this role and groom them and grow them, right? But that person must be coachable. They must be ambitious. They must have a vision for the future. They must be motivated, right? They must be willing to work, all these things. But you wouldn't know that unless you get this information about the problem. So in order to do that, we have to do some deep research and get really good at pulling publicly listed information around the company, the team, the customers they support. But then we also need to be very good at doing specific, intentional research. So we need to be able to reach out to our future peers and colleagues at the company. This is where we can begin to do discovery. We can start to build some champions there. We haven't applied yet. We've not applied to the job. But we're reaching out to other AEs. Let's say I'm going after an AE role. We're reaching out to other AEs. We're asking them some really good questions. We're reaching out to solution engineers, to customer success, to SDRs, maybe inside reps, right? We're reaching out to other people that have similar backgrounds as me. If I went to Virginia Tech, let me reach out to other VT folks. Or if I'm military, let me reach out to other military folks. But then the next step is we're asking very good questions in these discussions. The definition of a good question is this: you you are asking questions that you couldn't possibly find the answer to online. If you can find the answer to the question you're going to ask in ChatGPT or Google, and it's a pretty good answer, like it's reasonably helpful, then you shouldn't really be asking that in these situations where you have 30 minutes with a peer or a solution engineer. You should be asking questions that are very specific, that you couldn't find the information online. Things like, do you have open roles in your team? Oh yeah, you do have an open role? Great. How long has it been open? Is the team growing? Is the team doing so well that you guys, got to expand and you have an open role? Yeah, actually, that's exactly the case. The team's doing great. We got headcount to add one more seller on the team. Oh, that's incredible. Do you know how many people have kind of gone through the interview process so far? Yeah, I think we've had like 4 or 5. It's been open for 2 months or so. Oh, that's pretty good. What's going on with those folks? Do you get a chance to chat with them, or do they just go directly to the hiring manager? How does that work? Yeah, every once in a while I get to talk with them, but obviously they go to the hiring manager every time. And so far, it seems like they're missing the ability to communicate well and really get meetings with net new customers and deliver our messaging well. It doesn't seem like they have that experience or they're able to do that well through the interview process. Oh, interesting. Okay. So boom, there's a point. Like that's something we should kind of tuck away. Let's dig deeper there. So do you mind if I ask like why that is? Like why do you think, is this a particularly tough territory or tough customer that 5, 6 applicants so far have been able to prove themselves there? Or what do you think? Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, yeah, it is pretty tough. And the reason why it's so tough is because this particular client, we sell a pretty complex solution. And so you have to be really good at communicating complex technical jargon to business people and simplifying them in such a way that they can really understand the outcomes that we deliver and we drive. Oh, interesting. So that's really the challenge is communicating well. Yes, exactly. Gotcha. What do you think are like the best ways to communicate well as it relates to offering your solutions to problems for your customers? Like what are some things you do? Oh, well, for me, I typically do this, isn't this? So I'm going to stop here. But you see, like we're asking some specific questions that help us get information about the job, not the company at large, not generally speaking, what's the culture like? Those questions aren't not important. They're just not, this isn't a great time to ask them. Right now we're in job hunt mode. Let's get really specific about if I want this job, how do I get it? And what would it take for me to impress the decision maker? Okay. So here we are, we're asking a bunch of questions to, let's say, an AE. We then want to go into like, who's the hiring manager? Oh, the hiring manager is Zach. Oh, cool. What's Zach like? Oh, Zach's great. He, great leader, great sales mind, really good in front of a customer. So let me ask you a question. If you were interviewing with Zach again today, what are some things you would be sure to talk about, right? Like what are Zach's big priorities? What are the things he cares about deeply right now that you would be sure to highlight in your interview with him? Oh man, well, I would definitely talk about executive presence, excellent communication skills, my ability to keep a really, really good CRM updated well, and these kinds of things. All right, so we're asking specific questions. We're going to get all this information, and then eventually we're going to make a proposal to Zach. So we've talked to 3 AEs, maybe an SE, and an inside rep, and maybe an SDR. We talked to a few folks. We've gathered a lot of insights, and now we're going to reach out to Zach directly. I personally am a huge proponent of a cold call to Zach. So if you're a seller, you should be no stranger to the cold call. You pick up the phone. Hey, Zach, I know you don't know me. This is Andrew Garcia. I've talked to quite a few folks on your team, John, Amy, Elizabeth. I've also talked to an SE, Jacob, and I think one of your SDRs, Travis. And it sounds like you guys have an open role, been open for a couple months. Few people have applied for it. I think I'd be a good fit. Do you mind if I share with you why I think I'd be a good fit? Yeah, sure. So after talking with all these folks, it sounds like the territory you're covering is this many 500 to 2,000 employees in the Northeast. It's a fintech offering that you guys offer. It's fairly complex and complicated. You're selling to, a type A buyer. It's really tough to get through to them. It's really hard to share the insights and the real outcomes you guys drive and deliver, especially when you're going after a new territory. I think I would be a great fit because I have a background in really high stakes conversations, and excellent communication skills. I also know that your priorities today are making sure that the CRM is up to date and that we're really, really good at having an executive presence. Look, I think I'd be a great fit for this role, Zach. If you're okay with it, can we grab some more time later today or maybe later this week and talk a little bit more about it? So far, Zach's super impressed because you've done your research. You've basically approached the job hunt like a salesperson approaches a sales opportunity. You've submitted a proposal to the decision maker that is extremely well prepared, right? With relevant and compelling information that is really hard to walk away from. In my experience, Zach and every other hiring manager in the freaking world is saying, yes, absolutely. Let's talk later this week. Have you applied yet? I have not formally applied. Perfect. Go formally apply to the job. I'll have my recruiter put your resume or application at the top of the stack, and we'll get you an interview next week. All right. So that's phase one. That's getting the interview. We're not going to dive into phase two, which is the interview process and executing the interview process with excellence. But this is the problem I'm seeing. Everyone's just spray and pray, smash, apply, as opposed to let's be strategic. Let's go after the jobs we care about. Let's go after the jobs we'd be a great fit for, and let's pursue them with intentionality, right? Let's execute with excellence. Let's make sure that every detail that should be known, we know as best of our ability, right? We're synthesizing all this information. We're offering really compelling, badass proposal to decision makers. And once you do this once, guess what? The second time it's easier. The third time it's much easier. The fourth time it's much easier and faster. And before you know it, you've got 3, 4, 5 opportunities you're juggling. And now instead of praying and hoping that an offer comes in, you're on the offensive. You're at the final interview stage with 3 companies and all 3 are freaking bangers. You'd love to go to all 3. So now you get to choose between better and best, right? It's a completely different game we're playing. Okay. So let's be strategic with our careers. Let's be intentional with what we choose to do. We have so much time on this planet. That is to say, limited time. We only have so much time. Let's be really careful with how we spend it, especially in this area we call work, right? Because we do spend a lot of time in this world of work. Let's be great. Let's go do the things that we want to do, right? Let's pursue greatness in this thing called work. All right. See you guys. Reach out if you have any questions.